The Warriors just beat the Spurs, but now they have to try and beat the Sacramento Kings tomorrow night. If you want the Dubs to get a dub versus the Kings, super easy. All you have to do is hit that like button for me. Draymond Green suspension is over. The San Antonio Spurs versus the Warriors game was his 5th game that Draymond Green was not playing due to his 5-game suspension. So we're going to break it down here on Warriors Today by Chat Sports. I am your host, Allie Barefoot. And if you guys do remember this scene about 2 weeks ago, then you remember what happened. But for those of you who don't and missed the Draymond and Rudy Gobert fight, well, I'll break it down in a nice little 30 seconds or less here. Basically, the Minnesota Timberwolves versus the Warriors did play 2 weeks ago, and 103 seconds into the game, Draymond Green put Rudy Gobert in a headlock after he was deemed a peacemaker for trying to pull Klay Thompson off of Jaden McDaniels and vice versa. Klay Thompson's jersey was ripped, ejected. Draymond Green put Rudy Gobert in a headlock, ejected, and suspended. Jaden McDaniels, ejected. Rudy Gobert, totally fine. So, now that Draymond is clear to play against Sacramento Kings tomorrow, he finally talked to reporters about what happened that night. Well, here's what Draymond Green had to say. I don't live my life with regrets. I'll come to a teammate's defense at any time that I'm in a position to come to a teammate's defense. What matters to me is how the people that I care about feel. How are the people I care about? What do they have to deal with? That's it for me. Well, whether you want to apologize or not, the Warriors lost 3 out of the 5 games without you, Draymond. How does that affect the people you love? That's my question, because you're over here saying you don't live your life with regrets, but you just want to care about how your actual people that are close to you feel. Well, how do you think the Warriors feel that you let them down and weren't there for those 5 games? Because this isn't the first time this has happened. Like we've all known, Draymond thinks that the NBA officials have a Draymond rule against him, and they're kind of going up against him. I don't know if that's true or not true, but I know I wouldn't play the victim card here at least, because in your career, you've been ejected 18 times. This is your 5th time suspended. That hurts your teammates. That hurts them more than I think it helps them when you defend them. But if that's who you are, that's who you are. I just don't know if this will be the last time. But I certainly don't think he's learned a lesson from any of this. He did say he needs to grow, and he understands what happened during that situation. But I guess we'll have to see the next time any other Warrior gets into a fight that has nothing to do with Draymond Green. I do think Draymond Green was in the wrong in this situation. I've had some time to reflect on what happened with Rudy Gobert. And whether or not you want to call Rudy the peacemaker in this situation or not, I think Draymond Green escalated it. I mean, you can see it in his grit and his teeth when he's got this man in a headlock. I don't think that was defense. That was crazy, whatever it was. But if that's who Draymond says he is, then that's who Draymond says he is. But when you have these outside distractions, it can prevent you from the main goal, which I know every single player on the Warriors team, for them, it's a championship. But when you've got Draymond Green having these actions and hurting the Warriors, well, then you end up on Saturday Night Live. These are outside distractions the Dubs don't need. You don't see this with the Celtics. You don't see this with the Nuggets since, we do know that Jokic, he pushed Markieff Morris in the back. He got suspended for a game. The Nuggets didn't win a championship that year. They won a championship the next year when they got to have no outside distractions and they were winning games. This is outside distractions that Draymond Green could provoke that need to end. Whether or not his actions are going to change, these need to stop, because that's hurting the Warriors in the long run. Do you agree with Draymond Green's statement? Type A for agree, type D for disagree. I'm kind of impartial. I think this is who Draymond Green is, and he said that. This is me. I have no regrets. Do I want him to stop? Yes. I want him to be smarter when he defends his teammates. You can defend your teammates and not be suspended for 5 games. So I guess I would go with disagree, because I guess I want to see some change, personally. Just don't hurt the Warriors if you decide to hurt somebody else. Next, we're going to talk about some defensive observations that I've had without Draymond Green that I'm sure you guys had as well over these past 5 games. But I do want to tell you guys about our brand new sponsor here on Warriors Today. It's one of my favorite sponsors. It is Factor. These are fresh, ready-to-go meals delivered right to your door. Heat them up, and you can prepare them and eat them in less than 2 minutes. So, with the holiday season coming up, I don't want to go to the grocery store multiple times. I don't want to prep a lot of food, so Factor Meals is where I'm gonna go. You can try it out now for 50% off at factormeals.com/dubschat50. These meals are delivered right to your door, and they're ready in just 2 minutes. All because professional chefs at Factor Meals have already made it for you. So all you have to worry about is heating up and enjoying your food. You can choose from 35 plus weekly flavor-packed meals that support a healthy lifestyle and adhere to your preferences. For example, I tend to be a picky eater personally. I got some tummy issues. So getting to choose from a handful of meals that suit me best, it makes me feel so happy. Plus, there's no prep or mess, which is great because I have a mile high of dishes in my sink. So it's nice to know that I don't have to worry about any of that with Factor Meals. All you have to do is go to factormeals.com/dubschat50 and use code dubschat50 to get 50% off. Once again, use code dubschat50 at factormeals.com/dubschat50 to get 50% off. Did you guys know that without Draymond Green, their defensive rating fell to 118.7? With Green, it's 113.3. We've known this about Draymond Green his entire career. He is a hell of a player on defense and on offense as well. He's great at communicating. He helps the defense get their crap together. So it hurts the Warriors when Draymond is not there, especially since he's played 9 games this season because he had to deal with injuries, and then he got suspended for 5 games, and he got ejected 1 game. You gotta play smarter. Because when Green wasn't there, there were some defensive observations or defensive woes, if you want to call it, that I've noticed, that Smitty noticed, that Draymond Green even noticed because he only had 1 full day off of his suspension. He was working out, he was scrimmaging, he was making sure that everything was still going right. So, something that wasn't going right was fouling too much. And we've been worried about the Warriors' turnover rate since the beginning of the season. I guess I hadn't paid a lot of attention to the fouling. But if you look at the most personal fouls per team in the league, Detroit Pistons are our number 1. Then you got the Rockets, the Pacers. Then you got the Warriors, averaging 21.9 personal fouls per game. That's way too many. The Lakers are the last team in the league. They have the least amount of fouls, and they're a West Coast team. Golden State Warriors, these are minor things that better defense can help clean up. Steve Kerr wants to see this be cleaned up. He said the fouling has to stop. We have to stop giving opponents free points and be more disciplined when it comes to our defense. Don't just throw your arms up there and just force somebody down in the paint because you don't want them to shoot outside. Don't foul. Be smarter. And I do think Draymond Green is going to help with that when he does return. He communicates a lot better on the floor. So it'll be nice to have him back on the court for the Dubs. Because the second thing is you're lacking communication. The defense wasn't on the same page, against the Spurs, against the Rockets, against the Suns. I forget how many teams they played when Draymond was gone. So when you have somebody like lacking communication, it hurts them. And Kendra Andrews said in a tweet, she said, Steve Kerr says nothing limiting Draymond Green's minutes load on Tuesday. Since he's not coming off an injury, what his load looks like will be more determined on what combinations are working and how the team/Green is playing overall. Like I said, Green did not take a day off, so he can jump in tomorrow and be ready to go because this isn't an injury. He was working out. He was perfectly healthy and fine during the suspension. So this is where Green can help elevate the Dubs by really communicating with the younger guys that have gotten in there like Trayce Jackson-Davis or Brandon Podziemski, who's been great on defensive and offensive rebounding. I think Draymond can be an asset here, like we've all seen him be for the Warriors for many, many years. Steph Curry did say this about Draymond's return. The 9-game stretch we're in has not been great. I know Draymond is excited to be back. We're excited to have him. We need him. Draymond being back helps a lot, not just because of what he does defensively, but because of the way he communicates. But it won't solve everything. Now, we know there have been a number of things that have prevented the Warriors from winning this year, just like not helping Steph have another 20-point shooter on his hands. But some people have started to step up and grow. But mainly on defense here, the turnovers. Yet, again, I feel like we've been talking about the Dubs turnovers for so long. And thankfully, they beat the Spurs despite having 24, a season high 24 turnovers against San Antonio. That's 10 more than Steve Kerr wants to maximum see a game. But unfortunately, Draymond may not help so much in this area. Draymond is third on the team with almost 2 turnovers a game, which is okay in my eyes to have at least 1 or 2 a game because he has the ball a lot and he is aggressive down in the paint. So you're going to lose control sometimes. And I understand that, but considering he's third on the team in turnovers, he may contribute more than not contribute to this factor. But ultimately, these are the defensive things Warriors need to clean up, starting with Draymond Green returning. But what do you guys want to see the Warriors clean up on defense? It can be turnovers, it can be fouls, it can be defensive rebounds, multiple things, multiple categories. Just let me know down in the comments below. Because like I said, the Warriors and the Kings are going to be playing tomorrow night. And we know the Sacramento Kings can be heavy hitters on offense. So having Draymond Green back is a total help here. But overall, I think that the Dubs can take this one home. And I'm happy to have Draymond Green back. I think he's definitely an asset here on defense. But overall, it is what it is. So thankfully, they are coming off a win, which does help in the long run. But I would like to see a lot more credibility here on defense. Stop with the turnovers. Stop with the fouling. But ultimately, go ahead and like this video for me. Because every time you like this video, the Dubs do get a win over the Sacramento Kings. And they will play tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Pacific time. So go ahead and hit that like button for me.